Okay, so we have ended the ato ang previous part sa ato ang force directed along a line. So let's just do a recap that we have discussed the steps that we need. Ako to siya gihimo nga steps for you to have a systematic or masayon siya nga approach in solving those kinds of problems that force directed along a line. So first is the first and second step is you need to identify the head, kung kinsa ang head, and all take note of its coordinates, the XYZ coordinates, and also for the tail, the X and Y is in Z coordinates pod, so head and tail. Then you perform position vector, then you solve for the distance, then using that you can solve the unit vector. And if nanaka unit vector automatic, you can already use the formula in what you call this in solving for the Cartesian vector of a force directed along a line. So let's continue our discussion with example number 25. So express the force acting on the hook as a Cartesian vector. So in this case, we don't really have direct coordinates with B. So ang iyang gipanghatag diha is slopes and angles. So we need to solve for the coordinate of B and also for A. So without further ado, let's solve for the example number 25. Alright, so the first step again is you identify who is the head. So let's start with our head. The head is based on the example, the force is acting from A towards the direction of B. So nag-follow siya diha nga line A, B, pwede pa na siya ma-extend at padung pa sa layo, pero it follows the direction of from line A, from point A to point B. So obviously our head is B. So B, and now we need to take note of its coordinate. Now based on the figure, okay, based on the figure is wala daha naka-state directly, so we need to solve. Now let's imagine what is the x coordinate of B. For the x coordinate of B, we have this triangle. I hope nga maka-imagine mo top view. This will be our positive x, this would be our positive y, and if you can notice, we have here a slope, something which is gitagaan ta diri og 30 degrees, and we know that this side here is negative x-axis na, diba? Negative x na siya. So therefore, whatever values we have here, automatic, that would be negative x. Okay na naman siya diha. Then what is the length of this side? This is by the given, that is 4 over 5 by 5. So therefore, makancel si 5, and this would be 4 meters. So automatic, what would be our x coordinate, which is mo ni siya, the x coordinate, diba? This would be our xb. Alright, so if that is xb automatic, that would be 4. That would be 4. That's sine or cosine? That should be cosine. That is sine 30 degrees, which is equal to 2 meters. And again, that is the negative side, so therefore this would be negative 2. And of course, for the y, that's yb, automatic, our yb is 4 cosine 30, and that should be positive. Kaya na naman siya diri nga side, so that should be positive. Kaya ganina, this would be our positive x, so na naman siya diri nga side, so that would be negative x mo ng negative 2. And for y, that is na diri nga side sa positive, so that would be positive, that should be 2 square root of 3. Let me check if I'm correct. That's 4 cosine 30, and that should be 2 square root of 3. So therefore, this would be positive 2 square root of 3. And how about our z? Now, based on the figure here, okay, based on the figure, automatic ang atong z is, that's na given na diha, that's 3 over 5 by 5. So obviously makancel si 5, kaya ang iya gihatag diha, zb is equal to the 3 times 3 over 5 times 3 over 5. So makancel siya, this would be 3 meters. Since upward man siya, based sa figure, that's upward, so therefore this would be positive 3, and the unit is in meters. So that is our solution for the head. Then automatic, what would be our tail? So based on the figure, say na kay na siya kay given naman. The tail, ang atong x coordinate, that is 2, positive 2. So I hope nga naka-imagine mo, that's positive 2. Our y is 0 since naman siya sa linya sa origin, and our z is positive 2, and that is in meters. So automatic, we already have the head and the tail. So now let's go with our RAB, meaning the position vector from A towards B. Okay, so wala na to siya. So RAB, simply that is just head minus tail nga rule. So what is our x? That should be head, negative 2 minus 2, and this should be I, plus 2 square root of 3 minus 0, that should be j, plus 3 minus 2, that should be k, and the unit is in meters. Okay, so this would be negative 4i plus 2 square root of 3j. Ako lang siya gigamit o radical, wala na ako siya gi-simplify kay again to reduce errors. So dapat dito na ta sa final answer mag-round off. Alright, so 2 square root of 3j, and this would be plus, that's k. So since that is 3 minus 1, ay so 3 minus 2, so the answer is 1. So pwede na ka di ka mabutar og 1k, di ba? Basic algebra nga rule. So pwede na ka din mo ibutang si 1 diha, since obviously that is coefficient of 1. So the unit is in meters. So therefore we have the unit vector, the position vector RAB. Now let's just solve. That step number 4 is you solve the distance RAB. So this would be the square root of negative 4 squared plus 2 square root of 3 squared plus 1 squared. Alright, so this would be the square root of 16. This would be 4 times 3 plus 1. Therefore, this would be square root of 16 plus, let me try, that's 16 plus 12, that's 28, square root of 29. So, wala kay kog salig sa galingon. Actually, sa board exam is mga simple lang ang mga math problems. Okay? Ako yun na siya i-calculator. Okay? You use the resources to be safe lang jud because every point counts. So that's square root of 29. That's correct. So therefore, the magnitude or the distance AB is square root of 29 meters. So automatic, we can now solve for the unit vector RAB. So what is the unit vector RAB? Okay, kay need na natin siya for the formula. Now this would be the position vector AB over its magnitude or the distance AB. Alright, this would be negative 4i plus 2 square root of 3j plus k over the distance, which is square root of 29. This is meters, so automatic unitless ang ato ang unit vector. Okay, so let's proceed. This would be negative 4 over square root of 29. Pwede na kayo na siya, dili mo i-simplify because depende. Okay, depende na siya. Pero kung mag-solve pa ka, padayon pa ka na pa kay solution after this, so automatic ay na siya i-simplify para whole gihapon ang imuhang values. Wala kay discrepancies. Alright, then this would be plus 2 square root of 3 over square root of 29j. Pwede na mo siya dili i-rationalize para mas buo. This would be 1 over square root of 29k. Now, sa ako pag-iingon before is, oops, what happened? Oops. Okay. So, sa ako pag-iingon before is diri pa lang apart, okay? Sa diri pa lang apart, automatic makakuha na ka sa imuhang direction angles, okay? Makuha na nimo siya automatic. Because this would be kaninga value. This would be your cosine, okay? This would be your cosine alpha. Kaninga value, this would be your cosine beta. O ang kaninga value, this would be your cosine gamma. So automatic, our alpha is just simply the r cosine of negative 4 over square root of 29. And kabalota, okay? Kabalota nga ang once negative nga value, so kabalota nga this is more than 90 degrees. So what is the r cosine of negative 4 over square root of 29? That is more than 90 degrees, which is equal to 137.97 degrees. So that is our alpha. How about our beta? Our beta is just simply the r cosine of 2 square root of 3 over square root of 29. So positive man siya, so obviously that would be less than 90 degrees. The square root of 2 square root of 3 over the square root of 29, positive, so therefore this would be 49.96 degrees, so less than 90 degrees. Then lastly is our gamma. Our gamma is just the r cosine of 1 over square root of 29. In positive gihapon, so obviously that is less than 90 degrees. 1. Okay, so this would be 79.298, so 30. 79.30 degrees. Okay, so we already have your alpha, beta, and gamma in this case. Okay, so muna siya. That's 137.97 degrees, 49.96 degrees, and 79.30 degrees. Alright, so what is the next question? Okay, express this in Cartesian vector. Now, if we already have this URAB, okay, we have this URAB, kani siya nga part, kani, if we have it here na, we can automatically solve for your force vector. Okay, that's force vector, which is equal to the magnitude over the unit vector, which is equal to what the magnitude base given, that is 750 Newton. This would be 750, okay, 750 multiplied by your unit vector, that's 4 over square root of 29i plus 2 square root of 3 over square root of 29j plus 1 over square root of 29k. Now we can just distribute 750 dito. Okay, kanang tulo ka buok, imo ra siya i-distribute. Then okay, to check if diskumpiado jud ka, you can take the magnitude of this unit vector kani. Okay, imo ni kuhaon ang iyang magnitude. I'm really sure nga ang imong makuha diri nga magnitude is equal to 1, because again that's a unit vector, so that is equal to a magnitude of 1. Okay, so ngarita ato siya gi-distribute. Therefore this would be 750 times square root of 29, negative 4, so this would be negative 557.1 I plus 2 square root of 5, 3, that's 2 square root of 3. This would be 482.445 J plus, okay, this would be plus square root of 139.3K, and the unit is in Newton. Alright, so this is our final answer. Now let's check if our answer is correct. So our answer is 557 plus 482 plus 139. Now let's check if the same answer ba ta? Okay, so that is negative 557 plus 482 plus 139 Newton. Okay, so our answer is correct. Okay, so that is example number 25. Alright, so I hope nga nakagets sa examples. Now let's proceed to our last example for this topic. The roof is supported by cables as shown in the photo. If the cables exert forces, we have AB and AC, which is 100 and 120 Newton respectively, as shown. Okay, so yun na ni siyang forma. Determine the resultant force acting at A. So express the result as a Cartesian vector. So this is the major application na of what we have, meaning tagaan ka diri og duha ka magnitude, but we don't know kung unsaon na to siya pag diba? Sabi sa itong mga previous nga problem is mas dali isolve ang resultant if naka-component form, di ba? Based sa itong previous nga discussion, mas dali ko ang resultant by component form, katong summation of x's, summation of y's, and summation of z, di ba? So sayo na siya. Now, if you don't know the concept of finding the force directed along a line, you cannot solve this type of problem nga naman. Dili makakabalo kay di ba mas sayon siya isolve if si FAB is naka IJK, si FAC is naka IJK pod. So if wala ka kabalo sa ato previous nga topic, maglisod yung solve yun nga problem. Okay, so without further ado, let's solve for your example number 26. Alright, so first is we need to express both forces into its component form. So let's start with FAB. So si FAB nimo is given with magnitude. The FAB has a magnitude of 100 Newton, while si FAC is 120 Newton. 120. Alright. So, let's start from nga rin lang sa ta. For AB, okay nga rin lang ta. AB, ang iyang head na to ni A is si B, obviously. And the tail is A. Then, there is si AC, ang iyang head is C, si tail is si A gihapon. Now, let's identify the coordinates of B. The coordinates of B is, kamo nalay discover, that should be 4, y is 0, and z is 0 also. And for A, we have 0x, 0y, and that is 4 ang z. While for point C is 4 ang x, 2 ang y, 0 ang k. While for A, that's the same, 0, 0, and 4. Okay, so we have the given. Now we can solve for this problem. Now let's start for FAB. Okay, so this would be our position AB. This would be head minus tail. So kung siya diretso, this would be 4 minus 0i plus 0 minus 0j plus 0 minus 4k. So automatic, this would be okay. So automatic, this would be our RAB. Position vector AB is 4i minus 4k. So wala na ko gi-appeal si J because 0 maghihapon siya. And this is in meters. Now to solve for the distance AB, this would be the square root of 16 plus 16, diba? Okay, 4 squared plus 4 squared, that would be 16 plus 16. So this would be square root of 32. So pwede na lang siya simplify para mas madali. So this would be RAB. Now to solve for the position vector, okay, for the unit vector RAB, this would be 4i minus 4k over the square root of 32, and this would be 4 over square root of 32i minus 4 over square root of 32. Okay, so if pangita ko nimo ang direction angles ni AB, masolve na nimo siya diri pa lang apart. Pero wala man, so para dito malangay, let's go for the Cartesian form of FAB. This would be the given magnitude is 100. So therefore, this would be 100. Distribute. This would be 100. 4 over square root of 32i minus 100. 4 over square root of 32k. Okay, so let's just simplify. Therefore, base pa lang dire, walay y component sa FAB. 0 ang iyahang y. So, therefore, this would be 100 times 4 over square root of 32. This would be 50 square root of 2. I minus 50. The same raman na siya. This would be square root of 2. Okay. So, nanata automatic FAB. Now, let's proceed with for FAC. Okay. For FAC, okay, so our position vector AC is head minus tail, daray, okay, that should be 4 minus 0, so 4i, plus 2 minus 0, that should be 2j, 0 minus 4 minus 4, okay, this is in meters. Alright, so what is the magnitude or the distance AC? This would be the square root of 16 plus 4 plus 16, or the square root of 16 plus 16 plus 4, square root of 36, or that should be 6 meters. Okay, so for the unit vector diretso na lang ta, the unit vector of RAC is equal to 4 over 6i plus 2 over 6j minus 4 over 6k. Okay? Kani over the magnitude. So, therefore, this would be, okay, kana na lang, pwede na siya dili i-simplify para mas madali. Para especially if you are time pressured. Alright? So, let's proceed with the Cartesian vector of FAC or Cartesian form. This would be, the given magnitude is 120. So, distribute lang yun gihapon. This would be 120 times 4 over 6i plus 120 times 2 over 6j minus 120 times 4 over 6k. So, after that is we can now solve for FAC nga Cartesian. This would be 120 times over 6. This would be 4. So, 80i. This would be plus 40j. Negative 4. Minus 80k. And this is in Newton. Alright, so we already have the Cartesian form of FAC. Now, we have these values na diri, okay? Kana sila duha. So, automatic makasolve na ta sa resultant. Now, for the FRX, okay, for the X component, tanan nga na I, that would be the summation of X's. So, 50 square root of 2 plus 80. So, 50 square root of 2 plus 80, that should be equal to 150.711 Newton. Alright? Now, for your FRY, that's summation of forces along Y, tanan nga na ay J. So, 0 man diri, this would be 0 plus pila sa pikas. That's 40. So, 40, that is equal to 40.0 Newton. Now, for FRZ, that would be the summation of forces along Z. This would be negative 50. Tanan nga na ay K. Pilay sa pikas. That's negative 80. So, minus 80 is equal to negative 50 minus 80. That is negative 150.711 Newton. So, therefore, nanatay answer diretso that our resultant force is equal to 150.7I plus 40J minus 150.7K, and that is in Newton. Alright, so I guess mura na gipangita. Let's just check if sakto ang ato ang answer. So our answer is 151, 40J. So let's just compare. Okay, ito lang siya compare. So that is 151, 40 and negative 151 Newton. So I guess our answer is correct. So that is the end of the example. Now let's proceed with the last topic of module 1, which is all about dot product. So dot product is a very useful concept, especially if you are dealing with forces. Okay, forces requiring you to solve for the forces parallel and perpendicular to a given member. Anyway, we will discuss that later and also understand the concept of dot product. So let's go. The concept of dot product is just simply kita na siya og scalar product pod. The same mo na siya scalar product is also commonly known as the dot product. Okay, so if you are going to analyze, if we have your vector A kaniyo, we have your vector A here and we also have your vector B, and the angle in between them is si theta. Okay, analyze ha. We have your two vectors A and B, which is separated by angle theta. Okay, now if you are asked to get the projection of B, okay, the projection of B to A, meaning if imo na siya i-project dito, maka-form ka dari og 90 degrees or 30, that is explanation of projection. So when we say projection, mag-project ka direct line perpendicular to the given nga line po sa PCAS. Okay, so the projection of B to A is simply by trigonometry, that would be the hypotenuse times cosine kay adjacent man, di ba? Adjacent man. So this would be B cosine theta. Sakto ba? So this would be B cosine theta. Now, in general, to solve for the dot product, when we say dot product, that should be, in general, the scalar product of vectors AB is a scalar quantity equal to the product of the magnitudes of the two vectors and the cosine of the angle in between them. So, simply, mora na siya ang iyang formula. Dot product is just simply the magnitude sa isa ka angle, sa isa ka vector, say A, okay? Magnitude sa isa ka angle multiplied by the magnitude kani siya, the projection, okay? The projection of the force towards A. So, mo to siya si B. B cosine theta. So, simple lang siya inunduman. Dot product is AB, for example, A dot B, that would just be equal to the magnitude of A multiplied by the magnitude of B multiplied by the cosine of the angle in between them. Okay, so you must remember this relationship. And also, scalar product daw is commutative, meaning pwede siya magka-bali-bali. Okay, pwede ka mag A dot B, pwede ka mag B dot A. That is very simple lang yun kaya na siya because dili man sila pwede mabali. So, pwede ra mo magkiat. And also, we also have your distributive law of multiplication, meaning if you have three vectors, say A, imo anay i plus si B og C, then you dot product of A, that would just be the same with imo siya i dot product with both. Okay, A dot B plus A dot C. I guess that's self-explanatory. You just have to discover, maybe. Alright, so dot product of unit vectors. So when we say unit vectors, di ba? Kato si unit vector is we have your I, J, and K. Tinawag sila unit vector, okay? So hinumdumi that parallel vectors have a zero angle in between them. So what do we mean? What do you mean? Alright, so what does it mean? Wait. Okay, so parallel vectors that have zero angle in between them. Okay, let's consider this situation. For example, we have your A dot B. Okay, diba sa formula, the dot product of two vectors, that would just be the magnitude of the two. Okay, imo sila i-multiply times cosine theta, for example. Now, ang iyang concept is, if parallel vectors have zero angle in between them, okay, for example, zero angle, when we say zero angle, mahitabo ni siya, this would be AB cosine 0. Sorry. That would be AB cosine 0. Now, what is AB and what is cosine 0? Cosine 0 is just simply equal to 1. Okay? That would just be simply equal to 1. So, therefore, if parallel vectors na or zero angle in between them, ang ilahang dot product would just be the product of their magnitudes. Okay. So, for example, si I og si I. Diba si I og si I is acting both in x-axis. Okay? Nasa sa x-axis. So, if imo i-dot product ang duha ka vector parallel to x-axis, meaning si I og si I, meaning the same axis sila, x-axis, they don't have an angle in between them. So, 0. So, I, that would be equal to 1. Okay? I, that is equal to 1. Then, the same also with J sa x-axis. Okay? For y-axis, J, that would be also equal to 1. Same also with the z-axis, K, that is also equal to 1. So, for example, if we have, say, for example, we have your we have your A na siya coordinate nga AXI plus AYJ plus AZK. Okay? Para sa vector A. And also, we have here your vector B, which is BXI plus BYJ plus BZK. Okay? Now, if we are going to perform that product, mura man siyang multiplication, diba? Scalar multiplication or scalar product. So, if we are looking for A dot B, that is just simply ato i-multiply tanan nga mga components. That is AXI plus AYJ plus AZK multiplied by BXI plus BYJ plus BZK. Alright. Now, by performing longhand multiplication, ato ta, BX times AX, that would be AX, BX, I, dot I. Kanang dot product man ta, so I dot I. Plus, diri na punta, okay? Diri na punta, this would be AY, BX, then this would be J dot I. Okay? Plus AZ BX, this would be I dot K. Okay, sunod na po, dari na po ta sa BY. This would be BY AX, this would be I dot J plus, this would be BY AY J dot J plus BY AZ. Okay, this would be J and K. J dot K. So last is si BZ. So si BZ is times na to ni AX. So that would be I dot K. Then plus AY BZ. That would be J dot K. Lastly is BZ AZ. That would be K dot K. Okay. So again, this would be AX BX I dot I, AY BX J dot I, AZ BX I K. So diba sa longhand is ato lang na sila ipang plus tanan. Okay, ato lang na sila ipang plus tanan sa longhand nato nga multiplication. But take note, okay? Based sa ato ang nga concept diri, parallel vectors are parallel vectors have zero angle in between them, and that should be equal to 1, meaning I dot I, that is simply equal to 1. So therefore, this would be I dot I equal na sila ni 1. Kisa pa, J dot J is also equal to 1, and K dot K, that is also equal to 1. How about kaning mga dili pareha? Let's analyze. Okay? If, di ba si J is naa ni y-axis, si I is naa ni x-axis, unya si k is naa ni z-axis, di ba? Di ba si x, si y, og si k, si x, si y, og si z-axis are perpendicular to each other, di ba? So, si x og si y, perpendicular sila. Si y og si z, perpendicular pod. Si x og si z, perpendicular po na siya. So, therefore, if perpendicular, when we say perpendicular, your theta is just simply equal to 90 degrees. Kay perpendicular gon, meaning si x, si I versus j, pwede po mag I versus k or j versus k, di ba? They are perpendicular to each other. ij, ik, o gk. So, perpendicular. So, let's use the formula AB cosine theta. Now, what is theta here? 90 degrees. So, what is cosine 90? Di ba cosine 90 is just equal to 0? What is cosine 90? That is equal to 0. Therefore, automatic kani nga expression would be equal to 0. So, therefore, if perpendicular, say si j og si I, j and I are perpendicular to each other. Therefore, this would be equal to 0. I og si k, 0 gihapon na. ij, 0 gihapon. jk, 0. bz, 0. jk, 0. So, therefore, kasama nila nahabilin based sa kaning expression sa babaw. Okay? Kaning kasama nahabilin. Tulo ra ka buok. That is 1, 1, and 1. So, therefore, if we have a dot b, that would just be equal to ax bx plus ay by plus bz az. Okay, so that is the simplified form of your dot product, the derivation itself. Okay, so please remember this. This would just be the formula for your dot product. Okay. Actually, na pa siya explanation dire. Na pa siya okay. So, perpendicular da ako siya ganina that perpendicular vectors are 90 degrees from each other. So, cosine 90 degrees, that would be equal to 0. So, I, J, perpendicular man na sila. So, 0. Si J og si K, perpendicular pod. Si I og si K is perpendicular pod. So, therefore, if we have your AXI plus AYJ plus AZK, and we have your BXI plus BYJ plus BZK, if imo na siya i-dot product, automatic, ang imong formula lang is you multiply the components nga the same. So, for example, si AX times BX, then you also multiply AY og BY and AZBZ. Then, you add all the products that would be equal to the dot product of the two vectors. And remember nga ang magawas diri is scalar because again, dot product is also called as a scalar product. Meaning, ang iyang resulta is scalar. Okay, so I hope nga klaro. So, example number 27. Vectors A and B are given by A is equal to 2i, 3j, and B is equal to negative I plus 2j. Now, determine the scalar product of A dot B. Then, find the angle in between A and B. Alright, so let's go with example number 27. So, given with, what is our given? Vector A daw is equal to 2i plus 3j, and also vector B is equal to negative I plus 2j. So, simple problem is A dot B, that is just simply AX BX plus AY BY. Since wala man tayo Z, so pwede rag wala siya. Again, mas tayo hinumduman is tanan nga x i-multiply. So, tanan nga na I i-multiply. This would be 2 times negative 1 plus tanan nga na j. So, 3 times 2. Therefore, this would be negative 2 plus 6. Therefore, the dot product of A and B is equal to 4. And what is the unit? Okay, 4 wala unit, so 4 units. Okay, so that is the dot product of A and B, 4 units. Now, how about the angle in between them? Now remember that this expression, okay, this expression is also equal to this, the magnitude of A times the magnitude of B times the cosine of the angle in between them. But we don't know what is this angle. Okay, again, this is our unknown. So obviously we need makuha na to ang magnitude ni A, di ba? What is the magnitude of A here? Oh, sorry. The magnitude of A here is just simply the square root of 4 plus 9, or that is equal to the square root of 13. And here, this would be 1 plus 4, or the square root of 5. Therefore, this would be kaning 4 units na to, diba? Kaning 4 units na to, that is just simply the magnitude of A, which is square root of 13. B, the magnitude of B is square root of 5. And cosine theta, which is our unknown. Therefore, our cosine theta is just simply 4 over the square root of 13 times the square root of 5. And that is equal to 4 over the square root of 13 times the square root of 5. This would be equal to 4 square root of 65 over 65. Now, solving for theta, which is the angle in between them, theta is just simply the arc cosine of the square root of, or 4 over the square root of 65. Mura maghapon na siya. The arc cosine of 4 over square root of 65, that should be equal to 60.25 degrees. And that is the angle in between them. Okay, so let's check if our answer is correct. So that's 4 units, and the angle in between them is 60.25. Let's see. So this would be 4, okay, 4 units, and the angle in between them is 60.25 degrees. Okay, so that is the major application of dot product or scalar product. Alright, so let's go back to the next example. Let's proceed. So one application of dot product is we need to find for the projection of a force, okay, along a line. For example, we have a force here, say A. We have your force A, and we need to find the projection of a force parallel to line AA. Okay, say natay line AA dire. This line, it can be a web member. Okay, pwede siya sa imong truss, pwede po siya beam, pwede siya og anything nga structural member ng imong kinahanglan. So, for example, nakay force, and then you need to find the projection of that force onto, example, truss member AB. For example, ina na lang ba? You are given with a line, okay, line AA, it can be a member or what, and you need to find the projection of a given force onto that line. Okay, so the component of vector A parallel to or collinear with the line AA is defined by AA. So kani siya, the projection of line A on line AA. So this component is sometimes referred to as the projection of A onto the line. Ito nga AA. Since a right triangle is formed, in the construction, so mura siya right triangle man eh, and we have the magnitude of A, magnitude of A, cosine theta. But since, okay, if we only need the magnitude of A, okay, ang mahitabo dere is ang mogawas scalar, di ba? Meaning magnitude, okay? The magnitude of A parallel to line AA is scalar. So, munang A cosine theta. Unsay purpose nga na ay unit vector? Diba, if we are going to recall the topic, katong force directed along a line, the formula is the magnitude multiplied by the unit vector. Mo pa na nahitabo dere. The magnitude of the force is just simply the magnitude of this force A. Okay, diba? The magnitude of A is kaning A, muna naka-italize siya. That's A, since magnitude man parallel to A, so cosine. theta. So that's A cosine theta. Magnitude pa lang na siya, scalar. Now, how will we convert it to vector projection or vector nga notation? So simply ato siya i-multiply sa unit vector ato nga line. So which is, for example, si line AA has a unit vector of A, kaning UA nga gamay. So therefore, the projection of a force parallel to A in Cartesian vector form is A cosine theta times the dot product of times the unit vector of the line. So since if the direction of the line is specified by unit vector UA, then the magnitude of a unit vector pilaman, that's 1. Okay mo na siya. Then we can determine the magnitude of A directly from the dot product, which is A dot UA. Okay, to explain that further, let me... Okay. Okay, so muta kong giyaw-yaw ganina nga if we have a force here, okay, say this is our force F, okay, vector na siya. Now we have a line here, okay, kaning nga line, dili na ito lang yung color, okay, say natay line dire, this is our line J, for example, okay, line J. Now if we have a line here and we know this is theta, okay, di ba the projection of this, ato pang giingon ako ganina, muna sa projection gani dapat naka-perpendicular na siya. So if ako na siya i-project dire, this would automatically be 90 degrees. Okay, 90 degrees na siya. And to solve for the kanisya, ako siya tawagon og FJ, vector FJ. So sa vector FJ, that is just simply the component of the force along line JJ. Okay, kana siya, kani nga line. So kuha na siya. Kung ato siya giingon, this will also be force parallel to line JJ. And also kani siya, kani nga part dire, this would automatically be the force perpendicular to line JJ. Okay, so based sa kanang expression, unsa to kayo patasabot ganina, that if this is F, okay, and you already, di ba, line naman ni siya, okay, kani is line naman ni siya, so automatic makuha na nimo dayon si unit vector J. Makasolve mo kay, for example, na kay coordinate dire, coordinate P, for example, x1, y1, z1, yung nga rin po na po kay x2, y2, z2. Diba kung na kay coordinates, automatic makasolve na dayon ka og unit vector, diba, using position vector. So masolve na kay unit vector dire. Now if you are going to get the magnitude of this, the unit magnitude is just be equal to 1. Okay, so to get the force, okay, to get the force nga kaning FJ or F parallel, the F parallel, that would just be simply pilay magnitude ani. Diba ang magnitude ani is just simply F, the magnitude of F times cosine. Kaya adjacent man ni siya. Cosine theta. This is the, namdumi, this is just simply the magnitude. When we say magnitude, dili na siya vector. Okay, remember that, dili na siya vector. But again, ang atong gikinahanglan diri is vector. Okay, kani is magnitude lang. So how will we convert a magnitude into a vector? Moto ang gamit ni force directed along a line, which is we need to multiply it by the unit vector nga iyahang maagian, which is since niagi man siya diri, that's not A. Since niagi man siya diri sa J, so therefore we need to multiply the unit vector of line J. So mana siya. Now, if you can notice, okay, if ato siya i-convert nga vector, this is just simply equal to F parallel dot UJ nga vector. Okay? Nga naman, if we are going to solve for this one, this would just be, di ba sa formula katong A dot B, di ba ang formula is just simply the magnitude of A times the magnitude of B times cosine theta, di ba? So let's apply it here. That would be F parallel times pila yung magnitude ni U. Di ba the magnitude of unit vector is 1. Okay, that's 1. Then the angle in between them. Therefore, this would just be simply F11 F parallel cosine theta. Okay? So, sa akong gipang storya, the bottom line is katong naa sa PowerPoint. That should be the parallel projection is just simply the dot product of the unit vector and the angle in between. I mean the given force. Okay? So if given tag force nga F, okay? If we are given with force F, asa man ni siya? Okay, sorry. This is okay, this is not F11. It's F parallel. This is not F parallel. Okay. And if you can notice, if imo i-dot product si F nga given nga to ni unit vector J, this would be the sana what do you call this? The magnitude of F is equal to F. Then the magnitude of U is equal to 1. So that would be equal to F cosine theta. And if you can observe this F cosine theta kaning expression is equal to this 1. Okay? Kana siya nga value. So therefore, ang ato ang F dot U is just simply equal to our parallel nga vector, or that is the magnitude of our parallel na component. Anyway, you will understand this sa ato ang mga example. Okay, so let's proceed with our example para mas makagets. So muna siya ang formula. AA is the scalar projection of A onto the line AA. Then that is the component of the vector A parallel to line AA. Then vector A is muna siya ang force nga tong given, and then UA is the unit vector of the given line. Okay, so let's try in this example. So the frame shown, okay, so the frame shown is subjected to a horizontal force F, which has a Cartesian force nga 300 J Newton, meaning along Y lang siya. Kaya wala man siya I, wala po siya K. So only Y component. Now determine the magnitude of the components of this force parallel and perpendicular to member AB. So therefore, ang given nga line nga atong kinahanglan is si AB. Okay, so let's consider, okay, let's solve for the given force. The given force is 300 J. Okay, wala siya I, wala po siya K. And also, given line is line AB. Okay? So, meaning, if you can notice, si arrow is padulong palayo. Meaning, palayo siya. So, kung imo siya imagine nun, gikan siya ni A, padong ni B. So, therefore, automatic, si head is B, si tail is A. Okay? So, again, I hope nga naka-imagine mo nga si head ang B, si B ang head, si A ang tail. Okay, kung imo siya imagine no, si F is padong dito, okay, padong man dito, meaning nagikan siya sa A, padulong sa B, pero vertical lang siya. But our goal here is to solve for the component of the force parallel, meaning along AB and perpendicular to AB side. So again, the first step is, di ba, the formula for our to solve for F parallel. The magnitude of our F parallel is just simply equal to the dot product of our F and the unit vector of AB, kung asa na ang atong given nga line. Again, hinumdumi lang gid siya nga ang F parallel is the dot product sa ato ang given force og sa given nga line. Hinumdumi ha. This is force. This is line or member. Okay? Given force, so si given force mao ni siya. Given line mao na siya. So okay, so hope nga maka-gets mo. Okay, so since na naman tay F automatic again remember ha, vector ni siya meaning dapat naka IJK ni siya. I and JK. So kung wala siya naka IJK, i-IJK anay siya before nimo siya gamiton. So diri naka J naman siya, so automatic magamit na nato. Diri is we need the unit vector. So when we say unit vector, kinahanglan pa nato si position vector. Now let's take note of the coordinate. Our B is pilaya X. X is 2. Y is 6. Z is 3. For A, si A is nasa origin. That's 0, 0, 0. And that is in meters. Alright. So, let's solve for RAB. RAB is just head minus tail. So, this would be 2I plus 6J plus 3K. Because again, 2 minus 0, 2. 6 minus 0, 6. 3 minus 0, 3. So, this would be in meters. Now, what is the distance AB? Ato na siya kinahanglan for the unit vector. Again, ang atong gisolve karon is sa line. Okay? Nag-concern ta sa line. Na naman tay force, so sa line na tatanan, which is si line AB. Therefore, this would be the square root of 4 plus 36 plus 9. That should be equal to 7. This would be 7 meters. So therefore, the unit vector of RAB, the unit vector is 4 over, sorry, that's 2. The unit vector of AB is just simply 2, okay? That should be 2 over 7. So 2 over 7I plus 6 over 7J plus 3 over 7K. So automatic, we already have your unit vector RAB. So let's just substitute. This would be F. Our F parallel is just simply equal to 0I plus 300J plus 0K. Unya, ato na siya i-dot product kang, okay, the dot product of UAB, which is 2 over 7I, 2 over 7I plus, wait, 6 over 7, 3 over 7. Okay. This would be 6 over 7J plus 3 over 7K. So, based sa formula, ang ato ang dot product would just be II, mula na siya, tanan mga X. So, this would be 0 times 2 over 7. So, that would be 0I. Wala na siya. Wala siya unit vector. So, coordinate, scalar lang yun na siya. This would be 3 times 300. 300 times 6 over 7 plus 0 times 3 over 7. So, obviously, this would be 0. Now, our F parallel is just equal to 300 times 6 over 7. This would be 257.142. Sorry, 143. That's 143 Newton. Alright, so this is our F parallel. Now, that is the magnitude. Now, if you are looking for what do you call this? If you are solving for the Cartesian vector form, imo lang ni siya i-multiply sa iyahang unit vector, which is kanina, di ba? This is also the unit vector. So, imo lang na siya i-multiply, automatic, ma-ijk dayon na siya. Okay. But since we only need the components and the magnitude of the components, so this is the magnitude. Now, how can we find for the f our f perpendicular, di ba? If you are going to recall, di ba, ang imong base sa imong figure, so ito siya. Wala. So, base sa imong figure, if this is your force, I don't know if makinamdam mo, if this is your force, automatic, this would be your F parallel, diba? And this is 90 degrees, so this would be your F perpendicular. So therefore, we can just solve for your F perpendicular by using Pythagorean theorem, which is equal to your F perpendicular is just simply equal to the magnitude of your hypotenuse squared minus the squared of your F parallel. Now, in this case, what is the magnitude of our force? Which is our force that this is 300 J. So, therefore, the magnitude is 300 lang po siya. Kay 0 squared plus 300 squared plus 0 squared. So, 300 lang gihapon. So, this would be 300. Therefore, your F parallel, so F perpendicular is just simply 300 squared minus 257.143 squared. And your F perpendicular is equal to the square root of 300 minus 257 squared. This would be equal to 154.52 Newton. And that is our F parallel. So again, kung ano na siya, what do you call this? Multiply lang nimo sa unit vector. That would be the Cartesian form. Anyway, let's check if our answer is correct. Okay, so our answer is 257.1 Newton and our F perpendicular is 155 Newton. So again, if you need to kanang example niya that is a vector form, so you only need to multiply the unit vector. Okay, the unit vector kani siya ngari sa F parallel aron ma-solve nimo siya in Cartesian vector form. Okay, so mo to siya nga atong answer is correct. 257.1 and then 155. Now, if you need to express it in Cartesian vector form, i-multiply lang nimo siya ni unit vector. Kani nga unit vector. Okay, so I hope that's clear. Now, let's proceed to our, I guess this would be our last nga example. Okay, so this is a last example, projection gihapon. So let's just solve. So the pipe is subjected to the force F80, okay, 80 pounds. Now, again, ang ato kinahanglan diri is si force. Okay, our force is given ta og magnitude which is 80 pounds, di ba? But again, ako pag-iingon ninyo, ang ato ang F should be in Cartesian vector form, meaning naka ijk. So therefore, kaning 80 pounds, ato pa na siya gamitan sa formula ni U F times U. Based sa figure, it is acting from B to C. So BC. I hope mo nakagets. Okay. Ato pa siya gamitan sa formula nga F is unit vector UBC. So let's start ato siya express atong F. Ang head nato is si C. C is has a coordinate of 2. Y is 0. Z is 0. Then the tail is X is 2. y is 3. Yeah, y is 3. Please review na lang ang nakagets. That is, z is negative 1. Therefore, our RBC position vector is 2 minus 2. That would be 0i. 0 minus 3, that should be negative 3j. 0 minus negative 1, that should be plus k. And that is in feet. Therefore, our position vector distance, this would be the square root of 9 plus 1 or the square root of 10. So, if this is square root of 10, automatic masolve na nato si unit vector RBC. That would be negative 3 over 10 square root of 10j plus 1 over square root of 10k. Now, if naano na siya, we can solve already the the Cartesian vector form of F, which is 80 pounds times negative 3 over square root of 10j, okay, plus 80 times 1 over square root of 10k. Wala siya x, okay, wala siya x. So therefore, this should be, pila ni siya? 80 times square root of 10. That's negative 24 square root of 10j. Then positive 8 square root of 10k. And that is our F. Okay? That is our F in Cartesian vector form. Now, let's go with our, di ba ang atong formula, the F parallel, the question is the segment between, determine the angle theta in between F. Now, if you can notice, this would be F, oops, nagbisyo yun ang internet, okay, this would be F, the dot product, ato siya i-recall, that the force, the dot product, para makuha na to ang angle in between them, is just simply the Cartesian vector form, that of the unit vector AB. Okay, that would just be F, okay, the magnitude of F times the magnitude of unit vector, which is also 1. Okay, which is also 1, and then we have to multiply it by the angle in between them. So using this expression, okay, using this expression, we can immediately solve the angle theta yung kikinahanglan. But then again, we need the value of this F in Cartesian vector form. We need the magnitude F, which is given naman na, given niya 80. And also we need this unit vector AB. Okay. So, ngari mo na itong goal nga na solve ta. So, let's start with, diba, and then equal po ni siya sa katong fx plus fy plus fz, then ato siya i-dot product ni ux plus uy plus uz. I don't know, I'm sorry kay murag nag-lag jud ang whiteboard. Alright, so this would be uz. Then ato siya a dot product, and this would be equal to fx times the x component of the unit vector plus fy times the y component of the unit vector plus fz times the z component of the unit vector. So equal lang ni silang duha. Kani if makita ni nato siya, makitaan po ni nato siya, ma-solve din nato automatic si theta. So that is our goal for this. Alright, so let's na naman tayo value ni na naman tayo value ni f. Automatic we need to solve for your AB with the segment AB. So the segment AB that is acting, if you are going to analyze si AB, okay, if you are going to analyze si AB, ang ato ang head is si A. Okay, padung man dito ang component sa force. Okay, padung man dito ang component sa force. Therefore, our head, okay, our head here is si A. And our tail is si B. Okay, padung man dito si F. So, therefore, padung po dito ang iyang component. Padung sa origin or something. Alright. Ang iyahang coordinate ni A is 0x, Y is 1, Z is 0. While for B, na nato ganina, bilang coordinate ni B, that's 2, 3, negative 1. 2, 3, negative 1. Therefore, let's solve for the position vector. The position vector RAB is just simply equal to head minus tail. So 0 minus 2, that's negative 2i. 1 minus 3, that's negative 2j. 0 minus negative 1, that's positive 1 or 1k. And that is in feet. Alright. So, hapit na ta. This would be the distance AB, RAB, is equal to ano man. Alright. So, our RAB, in this case, distance AB is just simply the square root of 4 plus 4 plus 1. So, that should be the square root of 9 or 3 feet. That would be the distance AB. Now, to solve for the unit vector AB, that is just simply katong formula, that would be negative 2 over 3i minus 2 over 3j plus 1, okay, 1 man ang k, so 1 over 3k. So, nanata dayoy U AB. So, since nanani siya, naanapod tong kani, so automatic we can perform dot product. So, therefore, the dot product of F and the UAB, so the dot product of your F and then UAB is just equal to, i-multiply nimo tanan nga na I. Now, in this case, usaramay na I. So, this would be negative 2 over 3 plus tanan nga na J. That's negative 2 over 3 and negative 24 square root of 10. Wala na na IJK ha, because that's scalar. Then, lastly is tanan nga na I K. That's 1 over 3 plus 1 over 3 times 8. Okay, that's negative 2 over 3 times negative 24 square root of 10 plus 1/3. Okay, kani nga 1 over 3, then kaning na IK put sa pikas. This should be 8 square root of 10. So, therefore, the dot product is just equal to negative 2 over 3. Negative ba sila puros? This is negative. Yeah, that's negative. So, plus 2 over 3 times 24 square root of 10. Then plus 1 over 3 times 8 square root of 10. So, the dot product is equal to 58.362. And the unit is the unit of force, which is pounds. Okay. Identify the angle in between daw. That is the question. So, gamiton pa rin ako siya. So, I'm just gonna store this to A. Now, let's go back to the expression here. Now, we know, okay, we know that this is equal to katong akong gi-store ni A. Diba? Ako siya gi-store ni A. Ako siya gi-store ni A. Which is equal to 58 42.362. Kuy, nagbisyo jud siya. Alright. So, balik ta. This would be equal nga naa ni A, which is 58.362. Now, to solve for theta, ato lang sila equate the magnitude of F is 80 pounds, di ba? Then the magnitude of the unit vector is 1. Then cosine theta. Therefore, our theta is just simply the arc cosine of A, katunaan ni A, which is 58 over 80. Siya 1. Alright, so what is our theta? Again, kani siya nga expression is nga rin na siya. Okay, kana mo ni siya. Ako na siya gi-equate. So therefore, our theta is just equal to the arc cosine of A over 80. And therefore, the angle in between them is 43.15 degrees. Okay, so let's check if our answer is correct. The angle is 59. Sorry, 42.5. Let's check if sakto to answer. Yeah. The answer is 42.5. Then FAB is what is our FAB? The magnitude of the force AB. Okay, so that is the I don't know kung asa ang problem diri. But anyway, the process is mo to siya ang process nga because it is already time. So the process is correct. You can just make this as your study time. Okay. You compare my solution and then you solve. Let's just arrive on the same answer. So the answer is attached na. That's 42.5 for the degrees. And the component is 59 pounds. Now, you just check as part also of your practice for preparation for your second quiz. Alright, so I guess that is the last part or the last example of this topic. So that's the end of Module 1. So the details of your quiz number 2 will be announced soon. And yeah, that's the end of Module 1. Now, your problem set will also be ready for posting. Alright, now, if you have some question, you can just give me or send me an email regarding your question and let's just talk about it on our next consultation. Alright, so I guess that's the end and see you on our next module. So, bye-bye.